It's Saturday night,
The kids are in bed,
which means we did it. We survived another week.
so let's talk about it.
From our latest homebrew project,
To kids' crafting project.
it's just talking life with two young kids and two dogs. Grab your favorite beverage, sit back,
Relax.
and see where the conversation takes us.
Sometimes we don't even know until we get there. This is the Craft Parenting Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Craft Parenting Podcast, the podcast about two Cincinnati craft beer enthusiasts with a slight parenting problem.
I mean, they're adorable. It's not that much of a problem.
Just a minor problem. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Joe Ludwig, and with me is my lovely wife and co-host, Caroline. How's it going, Caroline?
So, all those times that I said that our kids were great sleepers, it was true, but now it is not true.
Until the time change.
Well, yeah, the time change, and Elliot's getting his upper teeth, so he's a fuss bucket, which then makes me a fuss bucket because he's cranky if he doesn't get to sleep, and I'm cranky if I don't get to sleep. It's fun all around.
Well, we have another great show planned out for you this week. We took a family trip.
We did.
We went to Chillicothe, Ohio, which is about 2 hours away and from Cincinnati, about 45 minutes from Columbus.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say because we looked it up. So it's kind of in East Ohio, not quite West Virginia, just kind of smack down in the middle. We'll get to that later in the show. But we took a family trip there and we're going to talk about it. But first, let's talk about some highlights from this past week. So Sunday was Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah, that as Lily says. She had a good time, huh?
She did. She went around with 2 Halloween baskets because she needed one for her and one for her baby brother, who's not old enough to walk around with his own basket yet. So she was nice and got candy for him. Note all of the air quotes around him.
And a lot of tax was taken.
Well, Lily's little. She can only eat so much.
And what did they dress up as?
They were Dalmatian puppies because we were the 101 Dalmatians minus 97. We left Patch at home. Whoops.
Yeah, someone gave Lily a little stuffed 101 Dalmatian. You said his name is Patch.
Yes, she has a little stuffed Patch.
So I think he at one point had like a TV show or something. Disney was trying to make him a thing recently. I don't know how well that took off, but
Considering this is the first I'm hearing of it, not very.
well, I'm guessing that's why they have merchandise that you can buy of Patch. So was it Molly that got her that?
Yes.
Yeah. So Molly is your friend, and she got Lily a 101 Dalmatian Patch doll, and he was supposed to be part of the costume, and we forgot him.
He probably enjoyed being at home more than getting dropped all over the neighborhood.
But yeah, Halloween was fun. It was Elliot's first Halloween experience. It was Lily's third, but we didn't really do a lot her first year.
No, her first Halloween, we hung out in the house and watched a horror movie with Stephen and Hillary. It was rainy.
I don't think we got any trick-or-treaters that year.
We got like 3. It was rainy and cold, so we just opted to stay inside. We were going to do a bonfire, but then it was rainy, so we did not.
But this year, the weather was perfect. My brother lives really close, so we walked to his house, including you and your boot.
Yeah, it was interesting. I got some comments from people.
And he smoked brisket.
Yep, he did smoked pork and a brisket, and they are both very delicious.
They were. He's very into grilling and cooking, so
Yeah.
we got to benefit from that.
But Lily wasn't that into it because as soon as we got there, her grandparents and her great-grandparent were giving her candy. Oh, it's fine. It's Halloween. She can have some candy.
She was into the candy.
So much into the candy.
So we didn't do a ton of trick-or-treating. We basically just...
We trick-or-treated our way home.
Yeah, which is... Considering the size of our neighborhood, it wasn't a lot of houses.
No. We could have done a lot more.
Yeah. And then with your foot, too, we just...
Yeah, I kind of maxed out what I could do that day.
So meanwhile, while we were out, your mom and Larry stayed behind to pass out candy on our behalf.
Yeah, well, Larry wanted to have a bonfire, which we were totally down for, and now is going to purchase a bonfire pit soon after they get their house so he can regularly have bonfires on their front driveway and hang out with half the guys in the neighborhood. He will live his best old man retired life dreams.
Without 2 kids living on the floors above him.
Without a toddler slowly bringing her chair closer and closer to the fire, no matter how many times we tell her, no, you're close enough.
But last episode, we talked about going to all the way out to East Jesus Land to Sons of Toil Brewing.
Yes.
And we brought home an apple cider.
Oh, it was so yummy. It was a spiced apple cider.
And we cracked it open on Halloween, and it was pretty delicious. We shared it between the 3 of us because your mom doesn't drink.
It was so good. I should have bought like a case of it, but that would have also been very expensive.
Yeah, it was a bomber, so that was nice that the quantity was right for 3 people versus like a can. So shout out to Sons of Toil, even though you are like almost 45 minutes away.
Yeah, we were a little crazy the day we went out there. Sure, why not?
One way, 45 minutes one way. Very beautiful location. The tap room was really nice.
On Monday, I got a new walking boot. So new boot, who dis? It has a closed toe, so it's a lot easier for me to kick people and not hurt myself. But it also made it so I could do more of my job than I could in the other boot. And now I have a boot for in the house and a boot for outside of the house because these are things that you need when you are very accident prone.
I still don't understand why you need 2 boots.
Because I walk around in the house a lot.
Lily also mimics everything. We've talked about that a lot.
And she's getting better at it?
She is. She's getting more clear, too, with her words. And we have a Xbox in their main family room area with a Kinect, which means that we can talk to it and turn the TV on.
And you can't do as much through the Kinect as you used to be able to. So we don't talk to the TV as much as we used to. But we do pretty regularly say Xbox on, which now when Lily wakes up in the morning, it's Xbox on, Anna, Elsa.
It's really cute.
It's very adorable. And eventually I think we're going to have to disconnect the Kinect.
Because, yeah, if we were to get like an updated version, like an Amazon Echo or whatever, it would be dangerous for sure.
Well, I know some kids that think that their name is like Alexa or Google because their parents are like, hey, Alexa, blah, 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 blah. And the kids turn around like, you talking to me? No.
We do not have an Alexa, and our phones, we have the voice disabled.
Yes.
The assistant disabled.
Yeah, I don't need their voice assistant. Please leave me alone. Let me swipe text in peace.
Yeah. So, just now when you said those 2 magic words, nothing happened.
In our house.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts, and sometimes they talk about Alexa, and then, Lord and behold, she's right there talking.
Hey, you wanted something? Well, we went to our friend's house. We stayed the night at our friend's house. And they're like, oh, yeah, just talk in the living room and you can turn all the lights on. And so, like, I'm trying to poke the light switches, but they're not doing anything because they're fancy light switches. And I'm like, hey, Alexa, turn on lights in living room. And Alexa's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What? So they woke up and they're like, why are you in the dark reading a book? And I was like, I don't know how to turn on any of your lights. I tried. Like, oh, hey, Alexa, turn on lights in the family room. Okay, I had the wrong room. How am I supposed to know this?
You would think that you could have both Alexa and a switch.
They said that I wasn't using the switch right because it wasn't just like a flippy switch. It was a push button, but you had to like hold in the push button for it to do stuff for a ridiculously long amount of time.
That's weird.
It was very weird. 0 out of 10. Do not like that technology.
So Halloween Day was supposed to be bath night, so we moved that to Monday night. So that's what happened on Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, I don't quite remember what happened. I think it was just
It was pretty boring.
Yeah, super boring. But then Thursday, we were planning for our trip to Chillicothe, and we started packing.
Where we're going to go to all of these state parks and do all of this hiking with the children. And then, oh, hey, Caroline's in a boot. Let's revisit those plans.
Yeah, because when we originally scheduled like the hotel and stuff, you were not in a boot.
I was not. I might have had a sprained ankle, but I don't even think that I had a sprained ankle.
You did not. I think we planned it in September.
Yeah. Whoops. Love you, hun.
So we had to adjust our plans, but only slightly.
Mm-hmm.
And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we were in Chillicothe, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So that's what happened this week. So, Caroline, what is bugging you on children's TV?
Okay, so 101 Dalmatians, Cruella De Vil. I know she's the villain. I know we're supposed to know that she's the villain. But Roger and Anita are like super stupid. Because when she goes to buy the puppies from them, and he's like, no, you're not getting a single puppy. Like, they're ours. We're going to keep them. Go away.
And then she flicks her ink pen at him.
Yeah, she gets ink all over him.
Which is very rude.
It's so rude. Then she breaks their door, too. She says, fine, do what you want with them. Drown them. Kill them. I don't care. It's like, that's not what rational people say. Maybe don't let her near you or anyone you love ever again. Why are they still friends with her? How does Anita not see this?
I don't know.
They might have made her a little over the top. I don't know. But yeah, that whole line, super major red flags. Not even like red flags, like red lighthouse. It's huge and like in your face and you can't avoid it.
And then later, after she calls them and she's like, oh, Anita, I saw the papers. And then they hang up and Roger's like, she did it. I know she did. And then Anita's like,
but she's been investigated by Scotland Yard.
What, Scotland Yard didn't think to look at the house with her name on it up north? That's like detective work.
The timeline for the movie is just kind of all... Disney didn't have all of their ish together at that point. Well, I think that might be what part of it is.
It's based on a book. I haven't read the book.
I should do that.
It's like a novel, pretty sure.
It is.
It's probably from the dog's point of view, just like the movie. And I don't think, you think about it, I don't think dogs have a good sense of time.
No, so the timeline ends up mostly tracking, except for when the humans are involved. Because then things start to get a little more mucky. As far as like whether or not she's been investigated by the police. Are the police in fact everywhere when 2 days ago they weren't? What's changed? It's a little wonky.
I would assume it would take them at least a day to hike that far north.
Yeah, I mean, it would take a while. And without them getting the truck to get home, it would have taken forever.
So 101 Dalmatians, that's what's bugging you.
Just Cruella De Vil. and how she says some very, very red lighthouse things, and no one seems to notice.
See, you have an adult beverage in front of you. What you
I
drinking?
do. So I recently went to BC's Bottle Lodge in Montgomery. I put a C in BC's. So I had a very wide selection of beer to choose from. So, of course, I walked out with some Astra Bomb Pop, which is a hard seltzer from March 1st. I never see this by us, or I do and I just forget to buy it. So I bought some.
Was that the stuff you had at Wild Mike's?
At Wild Mike's, I had their red cream soda. So my options were pink lemonade, bomb pop, or red cream soda. And I had already had the red cream soda. So I asked Julia and Marco whether I should get pink lemonade or bomb pop, and they immediately both said bomb pop. So that meant I had to get bomb pop. So it's 5% ABV, and their description is their ice cream truck series, Bomb Pop. It's a flavor-forward hard seltzer reminiscent of a classic all-American treat. Astra Hard Seltzer is dedicated to pioneering astronauts from the state of Ohio and throughout the USA, leading us, quote, through our hardships to the stars, end quote. It's a really yummy seltzer. I'm looking forward to the other 5 that I have in the fridge.
Of the same flavor?
Yes, they're all the same.
It said ice cream series. Ice cream truck series?
Yeah, so I don't know what else is in the series.
But the 6-pack is just Bomb Pop.
Yes. And the can is wrapped. It's a wrapped label. Because listening to Shift Beers has me looking at these things more closely now. Thank you, Beth. So your drink is a lot darker than mine. I don't know why, though. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking the complete opposite of what you're drinking. I'm drinking the Fuji Breakfast Brown Ale by Fretboard Brewing, which is based in Blue Ash, Ohio, suburb of Cincinnati. ABV is 6.1, and I could not find IBUs. Let me see if it's on the can.
3 days later.
Let's see. I have the can in front of me. It does not say IBU, so no IBUs for that. And I could also not find a description online. But this beer is delicious. It is really good. It's basically liquid French toast.
Oh, yeah. That one was really yummy.
So cinnamon forward, maple syrup forward, well, maple flavoring forward. It is so good.
Are you going to give me something to eat? Or do I just have to listen to this description and get really hungry?
Well, I will link to the Gnarly Gnomes blog about this. It's from 2020, but he goes through his impressions of what this beer is and how it tastes and all that, since I could not find a description. So, cheers to the weekend, and Lord help us in the week ahead, because starting tomorrow, we are going to have to do it all over again. More crazy adventures are ahead, and we will make sure to share them with you each week right here on the Craft Parenting Podcast. We're back. So we took a break.
We took a break, and during that break, I went to and from Big Ash Brewing. The place looks really nice. We should go there with the kids sometime. So to go back to what are we drinking, I'm currently drinking From the Heart. It is a pale ale, 5.6% ABV, 40 IBUs, a statewide collaboration beer supporting the Ohio Craft Brewers Association. And it's really yummy. You wouldn't like it, though, because it's pretty hoppy.
Said it's a pale ale.
Yeah, it's a pale ale.
Is it an IPA?
Yeah. It's not an IPA,
Pale
but
ale.
it's pretty hoppy. What are you drinking, Hubs?
I am being basic.
Are you drinking a Basic from Listerman? I really want to try Basic from Listerman, but have
No.
never been able to get out there to get it. It makes me sad.
No, I am drinking a Yingling, and I have the Pilsner glass and everything.
You do.
This Pilsner glass in particular is from our honeymoon.
It is, and it's all the way from California.
Yeah, we went to Napa Valley and San Francisco for our honeymoon, and we went to Bubba Gump.
Yep.
That's the Forrest Gump place, right?
Yes, it is. I still have not seen that movie all the way through.
It's a very long movie. So I am drinking a Yingling.
Or as your father likes to call it, a yin yang.
Sure.
Or is that your mom that calls it that?
My mom calls it that, and my dad also calls it that, but is mocking her pronunciation of said yin yang.
It's still pretty funny.
On to our main topic, which, as I said before, is all about our recent trip to Chillicothe, Ohio.
We had a lot of fun up there, even though I was in a boot and almost ruined the whole vacation because I was in a boot because we couldn't go hiking. I miss hiking.
I don't know that you ruined it.
I said I almost ruined it.
There is plenty to do even without a boot. We just had very wild kids because we couldn't exercise with them.
Lily just wants to run.
But Chillicothe is about 2 hours away from Cincinnati and kind of reminded me of a mixture between Gatlinburg and Philadelphia in that it had the age of Philly. It wasn't like a big city or anything, but it had kind of the look. The buildings were aged, were old, and it had the trees and hills of Gatlinburg, but obviously to a lesser degree. There weren't any mountains.
There were some pretty big hills, though. Like, one of the things that I like about Gatlinburg is there's just so many trees and the air is so fresh. But you also have to worry about bears, so that's no fun. But Chillicothe, I didn't realize it until we were starting to, like, super plan our trip. They're surrounded by state parks and wilderness areas. So, like, everywhere we drove, we would pass at least one nice park.
There might be bears. Who knows?
I mean, it's Ohio. You never know.
At the very least, there are coyotes.
Yes. So, a little bit about Chillicothe. Chillicothe was settled by the Shawnee Indians in 1758 after they were forced to abandon their village of Lower Shawneetown due to flooding. The name comes from the Shawnee Chillicothe, meaning principal town, since it was the chief settlement of one of the 5 major divisions of the Shawnee people. The community Chillicothe was founded by Europeans in 1796, and in 1800 it was made the capital of the remaining Northwest Territory. When Ohio moved to become a state in 1802, the city hosted the Ohio Constitutional Convention, and Chillicothe was the capital of Ohio from 1803 to 1810, and again from 1812 to 1816. Zanesville was the second capital of Ohio, and Columbus is the 4th and final capital of Ohio. So, like, when they built Columbus, they planned on it being the capital of Ohio. Chillicothe just kind of became the capital. Because politics, they moved the capital to Zanesville for like 2 years to get some bills passed, and then they brought it back to Chillicothe.
Really?
Yeah, it was super petty as to why we moved the state capital for 2 years at the most.
That's interesting. I did not realize that.
Well, so when I was like, well, how can they be the first and third capital?
I was wondering that too.
And so then I was looking into who was the second and then what Columbus was. And like, they actually planned out Columbus. Chillicothe just kind of happened. But it's located along the Scioto River. So it's south of the Scioto River from Columbus. And is home to Yoctangi Park and the Hopewell Cultural National Historic Park. It is surrounded by a wide variety of wildlife or wilderness areas and state parks. There are many opportunities for hiking, and we look forward to going there when I'm not in a boot, which, fingers crossed, will be soon.
You have a doctor's appointment soon, right?
Yes, where I will find out what the status is of bootdom. I'm getting around better without the boot than I did like a week ago. I still need to wear the boot a lot, but I'm at least doing better.
Are you currently wearing your boot?
I am not. But I'm also just sitting here. If I was going to start walking around the house a bunch, I would put it on.
So we went to Chillicothe for 2 nights and 3 days,
Yes.
but we really didn't stay long the third day.
No. Because we had to be out of the hotel by like 11, and we didn't really plan well. Because our plan was to like go hiking and stuff, and well, we can't go hiking and stuff when I'm in a boot, and I didn't come up with last minute plans soon enough. We were going to go to a local coffee shop, but all of the local coffee shops are closed on Sundays. Pretty much the same as what it is in Cincinnati. So we should have gone to the local coffee shop on Saturday. But that just means we have to go back and maybe bring the dogs.
Well, it's not too far away, so there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not horrible. I think Gatlinburg's like, 4 hours?
Gatlinburg's a good 4 or 5 hours away, yes.
So, no dogs allowed in Gatlinburg.
No, because of the bears.
Yes. So on Friday, you were off, right?
I was.
Yeah.
So I decided to take the day off work so I could pack the car, and we needed to have someone watch the kids because we needed childcare that day. So I packed the kids, I packed us. It was kind of surprising the little amount of things that I needed to pack because we didn't have the dogs and we weren't going to have to cook anything. Like, we knew we were going to go out for all of our meals. So I just needed to pack snacks.
The front seat was not filled with a diaper pail.
It was not. I did not bring a diaper pail this trip because we didn't need it. We were only there for 2 days.
I'm just saying. Someone, an adult, could sit in the front seat, which could not be said of our last big trip.
Well, that's because we were gone for more than a week or for a week. And when you have 2 kids in diapers, man, those diapers just multiply.
So after I got off work, we packed up the kids and we were off.
Yep, we were on the road again. I really need to learn more of that song or increase my song repertoire like Marco and just randomly break into song because I can't. So we had a pretty uneventful ride to the hotel, which was good. And then we get into our room and it was huge. We pretty much got the biggest room in the hotel, which I didn't entirely know I was doing when I booked the room, but I knew with 2 pack and plays and us, we would need more than just a standard room. But Lily loved running around to explore the room. We attempted to let Elliot explore the room, but he would just go straight for electrical cords and wall sockets.
He tends to do that.
I swear small children have a 6th sense for electricity. Like, as soon as they can start moving, it's finger in wall outlet. Let me pull on this electrical cord. And you're like, no, child, please stop. So, Joe, why did you suggest Chillicothe to me when we were trying to think of places nearby Cincinnati to go to?
This isn't the reason, but I knew of Chillicothe because of 50 West.
Yeah, Joe, so we were trying to figure out where we should go next, what kind of trip we should go on. And Joe's like, well, 50 West has another location somewhere in Ohio. Where's that? I think that's in Chillicothe. We should go there. At the very least, we knew they had good beer. So, Friday night for dinner, we went to 50 West in Chillicothe. Both the beers and the food were delicious. Lily got to sit like a big girl, and we learned that Lily likes chocolate shakes. We also learned that Elliot likes chocolate shakes.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both my children, so I'm not entirely surprised by this fact. And then we got some to-go beers for the hotel room. So after the kids went to bed, we could have a nice little chat and drink some beers and just kind of unwind for the night. So then we get back to the hotel room. We put the kids to bed. We put the kids to bed. We put the kids to bed. Why are they not going to sleep?
Elliot gets weird about sleeping in weird places.
Yeah, he's got to sleep at least like 3 nights in a place before he's super comfortable with it.
I think Lily was okay.
Except Elliot would start making a bunch of noise, so then that would wake her up, and then that would for sure wake him up, and they just kind of fed off each other. So we got to drink our beers quietly in the dark while making no noise and pretending like we didn't exist so we wouldn't wake up the children.
And which to-go beers did we get?
What was the name of that? It was really, really yummy. It was the 50 West barbecue rub thing.
It was called best of times. It's coffee and cayenne pepper.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Okay. Barbecue rub, porter brewed coffee and cayenne. It was really yummy.
It was a collaboration with Great Lakes Brewing.
Which is another brewery that we like.
It's a brewery up in Cleveland, which we have not been to the tap room before. But I really like their Christmas ale.
Christmas ale season just means that we're getting closer to box season, which is the best season.
That's correct.
But it also means that time is marching on and the kids are getting older and I'm getting older and existential life crisis. So it's really deep for late at night. I know. So we all managed to survive the night. Saturday, we were hella sleepy, thanks to the children. But we had continental breakfast at the hotel. They had a really fancy pancake machine where you poked a button and it made pancakes on a little conveyor belt. It was cute. I don't know whether or not that beats a waffle maker, but
it probably takes the place of that waffle maker and it's more sanitary.
Probably. It was really yummy though. The kids liked the pancakes. And then we decided to go hang out at Yaktangi Park. They had what was that, 5 or 6 different playgrounds all in the same span?
It was a lot of playgrounds.
Yeah, so they had a few different playgrounds that were different heights and different ability levels. So one of them had a ramp so you could get onto it with a wheelchair. One of them was definitely more like toddler/infant. Another one was more like kindergarten. And they had a really tall one, which Lily just liked going up and down the stairs and giving you a heart attack. That was pretty fun.
It was definitely not made for 2-year-olds.
No.
And it was really tall.
Yeah.
I want to say 50.
It was 20 or 30 feet high. It was not 50 feet high.
Okay, 30 feet, not 20. I'll give you that.
So Lily liked running from playground to playground. Elliot napped. And then after Elliot woke up.
What did he wear, though?
Well, after he woke up, I put him in his little bear fleece winter coat thing. He was not a fan. I got some looks from him after I put him in that.
He was pretty cute, though.
He was so adorable. So after Lily ran around for a while and Elliot woke up, we took a walk around the little lake there.
We met some Canadian geese.
Yes. We gave them a nice wide berth. We were nice to them. They were nice to us. We also saw some ducks. I think Lily would have attempted to swim if we wouldn't have her latched in a stroller. But she's also a toddler. That's what they do. So after we hung out at the park for a while, we warmed up and went to lunch at a place called Crazy Dog's Grill, where they have fancy hot dogs. And it's it's scratch made tater tots, French fries, and potato chips.
It seemed really local.
It was super local and it was super yummy. We are going to have to go back there again the next time we go to Chillicothe.
Yes.
They had a wide variety of hot dogs. I got the Polish dog, which was a hot dog with French fries, coleslaw, sriracha, and maybe barbecue sauce on it.
That's weird.
It was yummy though.
There were hot dogs on the hot dog bun. There were
French fries on the hot dog.
There were fries on the hot dog.
Yes. I liked it.
Well, I mean, you eat fries with hot dogs. That's a thing that you do.
Yeah. And then I got tater tots, which were really yummy.
And then we had to go back to the hotel for nap time.
Yes. And fortunately, nap time went pretty well. There were actually some naps taken.
Yes.
And then, I felt like a terrible mother because I completely forgot that the hotel had an indoor pool when I was packing. So I wasn't able to, take the kids to the pool as a way to burn off energy.
Oh, yeah, we could have done that, couldn't we?
Yeah. But Lily's also not old enough yet to, ask for pools at hotels that we go to. So I don't have to super worry about that.
The first hotel she's been to?
Yes. I believe so. Because everything else we've stayed in has been a house. Whether or not it has been a house that we own.
So it's not like she's been to a hotel before.
Correct. This was the kids' first time going to a hotel. And I think they did pretty good. They weren't super whiny. They mostly behaved at breakfast.
Oh yeah, they're really good kids. Lily, by the end of the trip, Lily was really good at pushing the buttons in the elevator.
Even if the button that she pushed was the help button.
She only did that once though.
Yes.
It wasn't really a huge, like, tall hotel. It was only 3 floors. We were on the 3rd floor.
Yes. And even though we could have taken the stairs with 2 small children, was not going to happen. So we went to Firestone Pizzeria for dinner after the kids woke up from nap. We were going to go to a different restaurant for dinner and then realized that it was probably too fancy / would have too long of a wait, and the children would not be down for that.
The parking situation was kind of not very good.
Yeah, we weren't really able to find a parking spot nearby anyway.
No, just in general.
Yeah, but Fire and Stone was our backup place. And I was really glad that we went. It was very tasty. We both got salads, and then we got a nice pizza. Lily ate like a slice and a half all by herself.
It was a small place. It didn't look like a chain.
No, it was definitely a local place.
Yeah. And it kind of reminded me of that really small place that we went to in Paris. It was just like really small.
Because it's like a shotgun restaurant.
Mm-hmm. It was long, not wide.
Yeah. And the kitchen takes up like 2/3 of one side.
Yeah, but they had a fire oven, a brick oven, and that's where they cooked the pizza.
Yeah.
And you ordered us something weird with weird stuff on it.
It was their sausage pizza. It had arugula on it. We've gotten pizzas with arugula on it before, where they throw arugula on the pizza. It makes it healthier. Lily ate it.
Sure. Healthier. No, it was really good. Beer-wise, they didn't really have a whole lot of options, but I just grabbed a Yingling, and what did you grab?
I had a Blue Moon.
You had a Blue Moon.
Yeah. I was fancy. So our dinner selection worked out pretty well, because by the time we finished eating and had started to pack up, Lily was starting to have a little bit of a hissy fit.
They both were, really.
Yeah.
But Lily was having a fit because they were doing construction on the sidewalk.
Yeah, so Lily couldn't walk to the van. We had to carry her to the start to get to the van.
Yeah, we just had to carry her around the corner, and then we had to walk down the street, and she didn't like that. So she was kind of...
She was fine when she got to walk on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But before that, she was a hot mess. And I had wanted to go to the ice cream place across the street, but that wasn't going to happen. So we get in the van, we head to the hotel, and I start looking at where I can get dessert from on DoorDash, because I was in the mood for some dessert, and we did not have any dessert with us.
You're always in the mood for dessert, though.
That's my secret. So we get to the hotel. I put Elliot down for bed. I order some chocolate from Grandpa Joe's candy shop on DoorDash. Head down to the lobby to pick it up. And then we put Lily to bed. And I got to eat some nice salted caramels covered in dark chocolate and a giant peanut butter ball. It was so yummy. We need to actually go to the shop next time we're in Chillicothe. So then we had more beers in the dark, and we're contemplating what to do with our lives, because what are the children going to do tomorrow? It's daylight savings time.
Or is daylight savings ending?
Yeah, so which means that we quote unquote gain an hour. But you try explaining to an 8-month-old and a 2-year-old that no, your entire routine is off by an hour now.
They don't like that.
They really do not. So we woke up Sunday morning, not super off schedule, but part of that was because the kids used the extra hour that we had in the middle of the night to be awake. So Elliot woke up, and then Lily woke up.
And Lily wouldn't go back to bed.
Nope. So we changed Lily's diaper, gave her a snack, and eventually she fell back to sleep. But we were very, very tired at that point.
I was up with Lily. I was so delirious that I was about to pull out I was pulling out the bed and the couch.
Oh, yeah. So
I was going to put on 101 Dalmatians and just go to bed.
So Joe and Lily were in the big bed in the hotel room. And I was like, well, why don't you try... I suggested something. So you went on the couch with Lily. And I think I fell asleep. And then I heard you moving stuff around. And I was like, what's going on? No, I think Lily came up to poke me. And I'm like, what's going on? And Joe's pulling out the pull-out couch. And I'm like, what are you doing? Just get back into our bed. But I think I gave Lily a snack at that point, and then she went back to bed. Apparently, she got hungry in the middle of the night and did not know how to properly communicate that, other than, no, I'm not going to go back to sleep.
She was a wiggle butt. We tried to get her to sleep in the big bed. She just wouldn't have any of it.
Fortunately, she does not realize that big people-sized beds are for sleeping, which means that she doesn't ask to sleep in our bed yet. I will have the strength and fortitude to say no when she asks. But will you?
I probably should because I know she's going to be a wiggle butt.
Yes. So.
I think she kicked my spine a couple times.
Probably.
I was not happy.
That sounds like a Lily thing to do. On Sunday, after we woke up, we went down and got some breakfast after we learned that we didn't really want to go anywhere else for breakfast because it was like chain places that we could go to down here, pretty much that were open. But after we had some breakfast, we went back upstairs, we packed everything up, and we just decided that we would drive home during Elliot's nap time. Because since the kids were so far off of their routine, thanks to daylight savings, it would just be best to head home.
Yeah, and how did that drive go?
It wasn't as bad as the drive to and from Myrtle Beach. Because of the size of Chillicothe and the cities, really Chillicothe's the only city. Everything else is like a town. Because there's not a whole lot between Chillicothe and Washington Courthouse, the only Starbucks coffee shops are inside Kroger's, which means they don't have a drive-thru, which is not ideal. So we get to Washington Courthouse and we go to their Starbucks that has a drive-thru before we get on the highway. And Elliot wakes up some point while we are in the drive-thru, which is fine until about 20 minutes to a half hour later when he's like, hey, I don't want to be in this car seat anymore.
He doesn't like that pumpkin seat.
He does not.
He's too big for it. At 8 months old, he's too big for it.
We're working on transitioning him to the 4-in-1 car seat. I just have to put it in the van and then put it in your car. So we're like, okay, well, we'll go to a park and Lily can run around. We can take care of Elliot. Maybe that'll help things out. Oh, wait, the kids probably think that it's lunchtime because it's 11, which really means that it's 12. Well, here's a Skyline. Let's stop at Skyline. So the kids enjoyed their lunch at Skyline. They were like super happy about it.
Lily is really into Skyline. We had homemade Skyline at her first birthday.
Yes, because that was her favorite thing to eat at the time. It's still one of her like top 5 favorite foods. So after Lily ate a whole cheese coney all by herself, we're like, okay, we'll get back in the van and then we'll go to this park that's like 5 minutes away. Well, we get to the park and it's closed. We're like, what? It's a Sunday. Who closed the park? Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with the park. Whatever, we'll just head home.
Well, could it have been a COVID thing?
I don't think so. I don't know. They do them. So we drive home. We see the nice fancy sign for Sonder Brewing.
I don't think I did.
I did. They have a little they have the recreation sign on the side of the highway to say which exit they are. We half contemplated stopping somewhere else on the way home, but decided no, we just need to go home. Because by the time we got home, Lily was ready for a snack and a nap. And she went right to bed. In her big girl bed.
She fell asleep in the car, right?
Oh, yeah, she did fall asleep in the car. You managed to get her to transition back to
you
her
drove
bed.
around, I thought.
Oh, that's right. I dropped you off because you really had to pee. We threw some of the stuff out of the van. I drove around for a while. And then, because Lily had just fallen asleep. And then Elliot started throwing a fit, like 2 minutes after I got out of the neighborhood. So I drove around another neighborhood in hopes that would calm him down. It mildly did, and then he started freaking out even more. So I was just like, screw it, we're going home.
He's a bit of a drama queen.
He's a little dramatic.
Yeah.
You managed to get Lily back up into her bed where she fell asleep. And so she finished off her nap in her bed. Elliot got to stretch his legs. He got a snack. He was then a happy camper. But now we have a mildly unhappy Elliot because he's getting a new tooth. So we have to deal with that now. But yeah, the kids had fun. We had fun. I'm hoping the next time we go out there, we can go to State Seal Park. They have a storybook trail there. Maybe we could go to the Ross Wilderness area. They have a nice little lake. Well, they have a nice big lake. There's an outdoor theater there, which I remember going to as a kid at least once. So if we go there in like the spring or the summer, we can see if there are any plays going on that the kids might find interesting. Though I don't know if Lily's quite old enough for that yet.
Depends on the play.
Yeah.
They're doing Shakespeare.
No.
Probably not.
Maybe they have some like children's plays too. She'd probably like that. So it's a fun trip, and we can't wait to go back again. We think this is going to be like our little weekend day trip place to go.
It's definitely close enough for a day trip.
And there's more to do than there was where the farm was.
Yes.
Like we don't necessarily have to worry about cooking food or how far the nearest grocery store is because everything's pretty centralized.
So now it is time for Joe's Dad Joke of the Week.
Should I shove a caramel in my mouth so I'll at least have the good experience of the caramel no matter what dad joke you say?
No.
Oh, yeah, I'm not allowed to eat on the podcast anymore.
No, you're banned from that because I had to edit out your
Nom, 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 nom. Oh, also, Lily does this adorable thing now where she shoves way too much food in her face like Cookie Monster. It's not adorable.
It is adorable. Of course it is. Everything she does is adorable.
Oh, wait, this is a podcast. They can't see that look that I just gave you. I need to express it with my mouth. Some things that she does, while they may look adorable, are in fact not adorable and should not be encouraged.
Can I say my dad joke now?
Yes, you may. Or wait, I don't know. Can you?
Well, speaking of hiking, we were talking a little bit about hiking. Did you know this? I made a hiking playlist for our Chillicothe trip.
You did? You didn't tell me that.
Well, it was just in case we ventured out onto the trails. It has music from the Cranberries, Peanuts, and Eminem. I call it my trail mix.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You listen to nature on the trails. But that was a decent joke.
Well, that does it for this week's show. Thanks so much for listening. We want to hear from you. If you have ideas for a show topic, if you have comments about a previous show, maybe you really liked it, or perhaps you learned something new. There are many ways to get in touch with us to give us this feedback. You can send us an email at craftparentingpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Craft Parenting Podcast to get updates on when episodes have dropped, see pictures of our adorable kids, and more.
If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. Make sure to share the show with your friends, your family, your neighbor down the street, maybe that random guy at the grocery store that keeps following you. It's what helps our show grow. You can also send us stuff to our awesome P.O. box.
All of this information is available on our beautiful website, which is www.craftparentingpodcast.com. So go check it out.
That's where we post the show notes. Plus, we've been writing lots of blog posts about some of the stuff that doesn't make it into the podcast.
If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the show. We are listed on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and just about every podcast app out there. And with that, I'm Joe.
And I'm Caroline.
See you next time on the Craft Parenting Podcast.
I didn't try to eat the building, so I can't say whether or not the building was tasty. That's going in the blooper reel, isn't it? Oh, Julia likes our blooper reels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They need a blooper reel.
Yeah, she says they need to do it, but she's too lazy.